What is going on, fam? How is everybody doing? I hope you are enjoying your day. I hope you have your libation, whatever you need to get through the show. I hope you had a wonderful day, a productive day, a fruitful day, all of that good stuff. While you are here, please take the time to hit that like. Just hit that like for me. I would appreciate it. Just hit that like for me. Hit that like button. Click it, like turning off the light or turning on the light. When you walk into the room, just hit it. Hit that bell for me too. If you have not subscribed to notifications, please do that as well. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do that as well. Also, you can go subscribe to brown.com and add your name to my email list. Please do that. Also, if you want to donate, you can go to donatebrown.com or patreon.com/ycarnell. But don't forget, what I most need you to do is hit that like, and that costs you nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, fam, let's get started because we got some stuff to get through. We're gonna get through some stuff kind of quick. If y'all don't mind, I still gotta do the book. I forgot. Anyway, fam, let's get. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. So let's get straight to it and try to do it. Let's see. Now, listen, fam. A lot has been going on, but I just want to update because sometimes we lose sight of stuff. So you still got to update stuff. So some reports came out. One specifically in Yale News, just so we quickly update the COVID coronavirus and how it relates to Black America. We can update that real quick. We still are seeing and understand, like, put this up for you. This is May the 19th. We are still seeing disparities, but you're not seeing them everywhere, right? So it's curious in a couple of ways. So let's just go through this really quickly. This is just a quick update. We're going to hit some stuff and we're going to keep it moving, but just this update. 3.5 nationally, the new age-adjusted analysis shows Black people are more than 3.5 times more likely to die of COVID-19 than white people, and Latino people are nearly twice as likely to die of the virus as white people. So we are more likely. They are twice as likely, and we are 3.5 times as likely to die. Think about that. Now I want you to hold on to that because two more little points go along with that. Almost half of the states do not track the race and ethnicity of those who have died in the pandemic. And states that are tracking racial and ethnic data do not account for age differences among population groups, making it difficult to accurately compare the risk of COVID-related deaths across groups. State data also show that racial and ethnic mortality rates can be wildly divergent, said the researchers. For instance, now just pay attention to this. We're going to have to come back to this at some point, not today, but at some point. For instance, statistics from Wisconsin suggest Black patients are 18 times more likely to die of COVID-19 than white patients. However, in Pennsylvania, data suggests Blacks are slightly less likely to die from COVID than whites. So the question you ask yourself is, what is the difference maker? That's the question you ask yourself. We might be able to learn about what state policies contribute to these numbers, Gross said. That's in the report. Perhaps some states have more equitable access to safe housing or health care or leaders who have employed a more proactive approach to ensure access to testing and facilitate social distancing. And I hate this, communities of color. How you start out talking about Black people? Well, anyway, what they're saying though is that policies might be making a difference. And it's kind of like what we always talk about in terms of these might be policies. I would be interested to know what is the difference maker? I'm just not talking about in terms of wealth, in terms of policies, because Wisconsin is horrible. You all remember the map that we put up that shows most of the Black communities there are in either Section 8 or prison. So I'm sure that contributes to it. But I think somebody, I don't know who, or scientists, we have all these people, we have a lot of Black PhDs and ADOS PhDs out there. Somebody really needs to get into this and figure out what that difference maker is. So that's just kind of, I hadn't done a COVID update. We still are there. I know a lot of states are trying to convince us that we just got to come outside. If you got to come outside, you got to come outside. Don't go mimicking these hee-haw honky-tonk people who just, we out here and we just go, hey, I ain't worried. No, you just got to be cautious. You got to be a grown-up. These honky-tonk people are being children. You can't be children. That's all I'm saying. Now let's move on to the next thing. There have been a lot of giveaways as of late. And I want to go out front here and make sure that everybody understands that I am not in any kind of way talking bad or down to black charity. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just noticing what's happening, right? And I've seen a lot of conversation about what's happening. And there's been a lot of white charity too, right? And nothing wrong with charity. Charity is a good thing. Charity has its place. That's the best way to say it. So I see Oprah giving. I see Magic Johnson. What they say here, let me bring this up a little bit bigger so everybody can see. I am excited to announce that my company Equitrust will be partnering with MBE Capital Partners to deploy $100 million in PPP loans to minority-owned businesses. Magic Johnson offering $100 million in loans to minority-owned, millions in loans to minority-owned businesses left out of PPP loans. Now, not saying anything bad, like I said about charity. Charity has its place, but charity can't replace government. Right? Now, the first thing I want to look at, these are minority loans. Minority could mean everything from women owned to LGBT owned to Latino owned, to Native American owned. Minority these days is everything except straight white men. So, you know, I think we have to kind of pump our brakes when we look at the language of it, right? The language is a problem. But even if this had gone to all ADOS people, I would just want to caution people to become a calculator in a sense, right? So what do you mean, Yvette? Become a what do you say? I'm saying, like, you have to look at the number. See, the only thing charity can do is kind of shore up. One of the things that happened during the Great Depression, one of the reasons that all those programs came about that we didn't initially get access to, one of the reasons that happened is because they realized that the bread lines weren't enough. We can't just have bread lines. That's not enough to feed these people. It's not going to do the job of government. So even if you do this and you say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to put this out there because the government didn't do enough, good for you. But you have to understand that government has abdicated its role. Government is not supposed to just say, well, we did it wrong. We messed up. We screwed the pooch and now we out of money. Scoobily boop. Hot diggity dog. Get back to work. That's not the way it works. So I want you to go back. When you look at the numbers, look at that 100 million. And the loan is going to be through the SBA. You look at that Magic Johnson, because it's not really charity because it's a loan. So you can't even really say that. But I'm just saying it because it's going to be administered through the SBA. So it's not like it's a gift. But I say charity because you didn't have to extend the loan. That's why I say a charitable act, even if you going to get it back. But I want you to just think about it. 100 million, because you got to be able to count. Because if you just look at 100 million by itself, you think that's like really big monies. That's the money. It's 100. Oh, it's a loan. A bunch of loans are gonna keep all the barbershops open. But then you look at like what the government gave, right? Like you look at this and it says Congress set aside 349 billion for PPE funds in April as part of a $2 trillion stimulus package. So you just have to look at those two things in comparison to one another. You cannot make up in loans. You cannot make up 349 billion that just got going. And we had a woman call in, if y'all were listening, I think it was the last show or the show before last, who actually got some of it, right? So, you know, but we had a lot of our people, most got left out, even though a lot of y'all was saying, no, Yvette, you wrong. I applied through the, no, you sent me, yeah, you're right, I didn't get it. I know. 100 million. I just want you to put this down. And sometimes you got to do math. 100 million versus 349 billion that was allocated. Yes, I'm sure that's helpful. But it's not even allocated specifically for ADOS. So that's not going to shore up whatever gap we have. Individual private partnerships, none of that can do the work that government is designed to do. You have a lot of people that want to say it. You have a lot of people that want to feel that way. Oh, yes, we can. I just want to make that point right here. That's the only point I'm making. You got to do the math. That's why I said a long time ago when we started talking about it, I said politics is about budgets. It's about money. Don't let nobody just make, oh, we're just about values. Yes, being a country is about values. But politics is about money and redistribution. People say, I don't believe in redistribution of wealth. Well, that's what Capitol Hill is. All they do is redistribute wealth. And they say, oh, well, it got away from you, didn't it? Oh, well, we sent it to the bank. And, you know, the woman who called in the other day who did get it, she had a very good and long-standing relationship with her bank. What if you are a business that you just been in business for a while and you got money from your friends or you got money from your family to start whatever the little thing is that you started, right? You didn't have access to that. And so now it's just like, well, and now so we get Magic Johnson on TV. I'm going to take care of my business is going to show up 100. Yeah, it's not enough. And it's kind of like, even when we talk about, remember My Brother's Keeper, towards the end of the Obama administration and all this stuff, he realized I ain't did nothing for I ain't did nothing. I was going to do something for the Negro boys. And then he said they people of color boys. And it's going to be charity though. It's not going to be, and I haven't heard anybody talk about how My Brother's Keeper was doing since then. See, you have to have programs that are attached to budgets that allocate funds. It can't be voluntary. We're not charity. Great what Oprah did. That's great. Great what Magic did. That's great. But as citizens, you have the right, and you should have you absolutely have the right. We have the right as ADOS. That's not good enough to say, well, the money gone and we're not going to give no more out. It's just a failure of the Trump administration. That you did it all wrong. Mnuchin coming on talking about, well, we're gonna look into this. It's gonna be looked into who got it and who shouldn't have got it. What kind of process is this when the banks get to choose? The banks never should have been the middlemen because they racist anyway. You had racist banks trying to figure out who to give money to. Who do you think was gonna get left out? Mnuchin? This is an enormous failure of the Trump administration, but ain't nobody gonna say that, not on the top. So you don't have anybody, you're not gonna have Magic Johnson saying like this was a failure. You're not gonna have nobody saying it at the top tier. Just say like they failed, start over. Well, they're gonna do another one and we're gonna be, okay, all right. So I just want to make that point before we move on to the next point, because we moving tonight, family. We moving. We got to get through some things. We moving. But I just want to make that point. Nothing bad about anybody extending their business to do loans or whatever capital they have. But understand that this will never substitute for government. And we are old government. We're not old just like, well, we got to take whatever we can get. Got to do whatever we can do. If a scrap fall from the table, you got to race for it. And beat somebody else off the head for it because, scraps only come every now and again. Like, you have to make the case and you have to fight to be included in government. And this CARES Act and the PPP and all that, this is a tremendous Trump administration failure. I mean, it just is what it is. But there's so much going on in the news. There's so much to talk about. So much. I just wanted to make that point. Now let's go on to the next point. I don't know if you all remember, but the last time I flicked something up on the screen real quick and I took it off real quick because I didn't have time. I ran out of time. That happens around here. That happens with me. I get to talking. I run out of time. So I was talking about what won't fix the situation that we're in terms of ADOS and our politics and the needs of our community. And I brought this up because this came up. It didn't get much attention. Black women and what we need from the Biden and what Biden gonna have to do if he don't. We gonna sister girl you out of the politics. Well, it didn't get much attention Didn't get many retweets, didn't get many likes. Y'all all got in a room and did a bunch of stuff. And I want to caution anybody. I'm not just talking about these black women, because I don't want to make it think I'm singling them out. I want to caution anybody, black women, black men, you know, I want to caution everybody from kind of doing this kind of divisive stuff where we separate ourselves and we gonna have the conversation. We gonna talk to each other. We gonna man. We gotta, like, part of what we have to do is kind of operate as a group. And whatever differences we have as a group, we have to handle as a group. If not, people start getting real cliquish and people start clicking up. And when people start clicking up, it's a problem. When people start, we saw that, that's how we had those whole fights a few months ago. Everybody started getting their little cliques. Ain't no cliques here. Everybody the same. Ain't no cliques here. We're a group. We rise together or we fall together. Right? I said that. And I wanted to say that and make sure we all clear. We rise together or we fall together. Ain't no clicking up. Ain't no I'm in this set and this my set. We ain't no doggone gang. We not sets. We don't run sets. So, you know, I don't want to see no sets or nobody clicking up and I run with it. Yes, everybody is regional and people are going to deal with their region. And that's because every region has different needs. That's just a natural coalescing of people. That's not clicking up. So just be very careful, because you have to be accountable to yourself and to the ideals that we have set forward to move as a cohesive collective. And so these women right here seem not to be in that space either. They have this idea that they're going to tell Joe Biden that Biden needs to appoint a black woman VP and a black woman Supreme Court justice. Now, here's the first thing I want to say about that. Just so we kind of clear everything up. I don't care what you do to the bottom of the ticket. It don't change the top of the ticket. Let me say that again. I don't care what you do to the bottom of the ticket. It don't change the top of the ticket. So if he appoints a black woman as VP, what she does for 8 years, if he gets reelected, if he gets elected and reelected, is shore him up. It don't change who Biden is. It doesn't change his body of politics. It doesn't change his voting record. The bottom of the ticket don't change the top of the ticket. And we're not really interested. Listen, we had that with Obama. We came out for tokenism. Listen, everybody, y'all said this stuff too when let me see. What else did y'all say this? Y'all said this too when Attorney General Loretta Lynch, about Loretta Lynch. And don't get me wrong, black men said the same thing about Obama. And we'll get to some of that in a minute. Everybody, she's a Delta, just like, you know. What does that mean? So the new Attorney General Loretta Lynch comes in and makes her first priority to boost police officers' morale. So what did just having a black woman do? Well, the police, you know, they feel kind of put upon. They feel kind of pressed upon. You know, they've been accused, and you know, Obama gave a beer summit to one of them after he yanked the little crippled professor off his porch. Henry Louis Gates is walking with a cane and yanked him right off the porch, and Obama invited him to have a beer because the police got mad. Now we cannot make the police mad, so I'm gonna go around and talk to them and see how they feel about themselves, see how they feel about everything. Y'all all right? Then we're gonna have you know, y'all already done had the Blue Lives Matter bill, right? So everybody feeling all right. So in that instance, I'm trying to figure out what was the difference with having a black woman as Attorney General when she was just going, what? Tell me, because we had her there, what was the difference maker? What was the difference maker before her when we had an Attorney General who was black, Eric Holder? What were these black faces and high faces doing? Y'all said it, but y'all said a woman would be different than a man. Eric Holder wasn't nothing. So wait a minute. We want to think that Loretta Lynch was something? No, it's a continuation. Eric Holder didn't hold no banks accountable for the evisceration of black wealth and targeting ADOS communities with these subprime loans. Nobody went to jail. They got a pat on the hand in terms of a little fine. He didn't do nothing. And then Loretta Lynch came along and told everybody that the police is all right. Understand, that's what you call that. That's called that stupid thing they call it all the time. Virtue signaling. Right? Well, when you say you're going to do a tour of the police, that's a virtue signal to everybody else whose side you on. That's a signal to them, y'all can calm down. I'm not going to cause y'all no trouble. So what was the difference between Holder and Lynch? I'm just trying to, no, don't talk to me about, talk to me substantively in terms of your life. Or something that you saw. Anybody in the chat can tell me something that was different or that made her better because she was a black woman that made her so much better than a black man? I can't think of nothing. And let me just go into exactly kind of what she said before we get into the rest of it. Miss Lynch's aide said that improving police morale and finding common ground between law enforcement and minority communities would be among her top priorities. So wait a minute. What I want to see is a top priority is holding police accountable. I would like to see that as a top priority. But instead, what I'm seeing as a top priority is making sure that they feel loved. We have to get beyond this idea, right? And let me just say this. I think some of these people who we saw in this little thing right here, see, there's a lot of people who want to see. You got to understand why sometimes a lot of these people you see these usual suspects you see. A lot of times you see a lot of the same people, not because they just want a black woman because we feel like we need a black woman. I felt like Obama should have appointed a black woman to the Supreme Court. Instead, I got Kagan and Sotomayor. So, you know, I said you're going to have a hard time asking anything out of a white president when you didn't ask nothing out of this black president or the man who we thought was whatever. You're going to have a real hard time. I said that then. But what we don't understand too is that what happens with a lot of these people too, especially in the midst of COVID, y'all are ringing the bell to be hired as you want somebody, a black female VP, so you can be put on. So that you can go to, if there's a VP, I can too go to the White House and work for the vice president's office. Woo-wee! That'll hold me over for at least 4 years, hopefully 8. Ooh, get to work for the White House for 8 years to get out of this whole COVID stuff. My gosh. I hear you. Personal ambitions. You go look at that clip. It's 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes and 23 seconds long. Go look at it. See who's in there. Road to the White House. Because Kamala was supposed to be everybody's road to the White House anyway. Had Bakari sellers out there dancing. Had everybody out there, and then she just flopped before she got to South Carolina. But if you can give her a do-over and put her on the bottom of the ticket, or get Stacey on the bottom of the ticket, Stacey Abrams, then you might have a shot. So there's a problem though. There's several problems. They talk about an agenda, which is really good, because we do need an ADOS agenda. We need a black agenda with an ADOS agenda and reparations as the heartbeat. We do need that. But it doesn't work if you don't give that agenda any teeth. If you don't say specifically with any specificity what we need is reparations and this as the heartbeat, and this is the meat of it. The ADOS agenda, that's for us, ADOS. The black agenda is the black agenda. ADOS agenda is the heartbeat of that agenda. You didn't say that. You just said like we've been oppressed, the systemic racism. That's true, but you got to be specific. Talk with your whole chest. I don't know what you wrote this for if you didn't, if it doesn't have a specific thing to it. If you're not saying specifically what you want. Seems kind of problematic. But let's just go to there are some other things that are problematic. That's not the only thing. So it's not the only thing. It's not the only thing problematic about Loretta, but let's leave Loretta alone and go on to the next thing. He gave them 3 little things to do. They wasn't nothing. You ain't even got to worry about them. But they start talking, you know, there's something that's going on. I don't know whether it's in the water. I can't call it. But there's something that's kind of odd, right? There's something that's kind of odd about this whole thing. Now, hold on a second. It kind of feels like this kind of is a leveraging. Y'all know what I mean? It kind of feels like this is a leveraging of something. What do you mean, Yvette? It's a leveraging of something. Well, here's what I mean. What I mean is that when you say black women, I am an ADOS. I don't like to call myself, I'm an ADOS woman. When you say that, it kind of feels like as opposed to somebody else, as opposed to black men. Right? So that's what it sounds like. Let me just get this fan real quick. Trying to pull up something. Trying to do 3 things at once. So it sounds like the women are trying to do something else. It sounds like they're trying to position themselves. It sounds like a lot of people are trying to position themselves in a way that don't really make sense. Or like somebody's trying to pull the wool over our eyes. So when you talk about black women, it looks like you're trying to say we do more than black men. Like black women. Why would you just say black people? It don't make no sense to say black women. I'm going to tell you why. Just like it don't make no sense. Just like it don't make no sense for Magic Johnson to say this is going to be minority. Because maybe it sounds like, you got to understand, sometimes people are playing tricks. So it feels like, well, black women, we're going to try to elevate and leverage ourselves. And then when you talk about Magic Johnson giving $100 million, it don't make sense either. And here's why. Because when you look at Johnson, the owner of Equitrust, the nation's largest minority-owned insurance company, will partner with MBE Capital Partners, a Latino-owned company, to provide supply chain finances. Finance solutions for Fortune 500 companies and suppliers. And Rafael Ramirez, what's his name? I looked it up. That's the partner. So it kind of looks like this money might be going to Latino business with Magic Johnson as the face. Now there is something in that, ain't it? Because the other man's name is, who was on TV that I saw earlier today with Magic Johnson, was I think his name is Rafael Martinez. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. Rafael Martinez said he received complaints from... Hold on a second. MBE's chief executive, Rafael Martinez, said he received complaints from clients who couldn't get loans from the PPE's first round of funding. It was later reported that large banks prioritize existing relationships and large corporations before focusing on smaller and minority businesses. According to the Center for Responsible Lending, up to 90% of businesses owned by people of color have likely been shut out of the program. Martinez and Johnson announced the partnership on MSNBC. But you know who the face of it is? The face of this is Magic Johnson. Like, this finna go to black people. I think you're wrong. Now let's go to some other cover-up. There's a lot of cover-up going on around here. A lot of people playing all kind of tricks and games. So let's go to the next cover-up. We go back to where we are. We just pull up that game. All kinds of gems. Right around here like Yosemite Sam. Anyway. So you hear people say like, well, black women are the backbone, and we vote more Democratic even than black men. Well, here's the thing. Okay, let's pull this up. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about all of the allegations and complaints and what have you. This is the first chart. Among validated voters in 2016, wide gap among whites by education. We don't really care about that top part. Now, we care about the chart. So let's go to black men. Let's go to black women. Now this is validated vote of 2016. Let's go to black men. Let's go to black women. Now that blue, of course, is that blue is just what you would think. That blue is Clinton. And that red is Trump. Now, you would look at this and say, yes, more black women, look at the 98 voted for Clinton than black men. Look at that 81. My question is, why are these two groups comparing each other? What do you mean, Yvette? Well, just look at black men for 1 second. Look at that 81, that blue 81. That's black men. Look at them in comparison to Hispanic men. Hispanic men is 65. Hispanic women are at 67 in terms of voting for Hillary, right? Black men are still at 81. Still at 81. Now, even if you look at white men, 32, white women at 45. When you compare black men to all these other groups, they still are far ahead and leaps and bounds ahead of every other group in terms of supporting and voting blue. They not where black women are, but why in the world are we comparing each other to each other? Don't nobody else do that. Don't nobody else do that and say, well, we did better than the white men's. White women don't do that. Latinos don't do that. Don't nobody trying to run off by themselves. White women fake that sometimes. Well, we're feminists and we believe every woman get paid. When you look at this chart, I want you to keep this chart in your mind. Because we have to talk about something too. Hillary Clinton was a specific kind of candidate. She was tied to mass incarceration. She was tied to calling us super predators. Right? Understand how that could affect the vote of black men when you talk about who he is. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm talking about the impact. But now I want to talk about the fight that has to happen. See, when you look at this chart, and I'm gonna leave it up to the side. When you look at this chart and you see how, regardless of if black men are behind black women in terms of support for Hillary Clinton, and that's just, we talking about one elect, we talking about her right now. We're not talking about in general. We're gonna get to that in a second. Regardless of that, we got to talk about why are we having this internal kind of strife? Because black men still, as it is, are further ahead, are 20 some odd points ahead of Latinos, are far ahead of white women in terms of when they support Clinton, are far ahead of white men. The question becomes to us as a group, and especially to these women who just said women need we black women have always been whatever. The question becomes, when we gonna fight the real fight? When are we gonna fight the real fight? What's the real fight, Yvette? The real fight is, if we want to talk about genderizing stuff, the real fight is, when are we going to take the fight to the Latino women? When are we going to take the fight to white women? When are we going to take the fight to them and say, you don't deserve what we deserve? We support this party as women far more than you all do, and you shouldn't get the same stuff. How do we support this party at this level and then see some immigration stuff in there? That's for majority overwhelmingly, because Mexico to our border, southern border, that's majority Latino. Don't tell me about, well, black. No, that's majority. How? When you look, if you want to have a genderized fight, if you want to have a gender fight, you need to have that gender fight. I'm ready for that one. Now I'll join you if you want to have that gender fight. I'm not going to have no intra fight between black women and black men. But if you want to have a real fight, you need to say, listen, you need to look at these numbers real close. Say, listen, white women, Latino women, y'all don't get nothing from this party. Not nearly as much as I get. Because of how we support this party as the staunchest group. And then you need to take it further to men. Listen. And men need to say the same thing. Listen. We support this party more than Latino men, more than white men. Yeah, we get what this party has to give. If you want to genderize it, that's the fight. Ain't no intra fight. And then how many men can you got? You done locked up most of the men anyway. I mean, you done more black men in jail than women across the globe. You done, hell, I don't know how many would vote well. You done distorted the numbers so bad. But that's the real fight. If you want to fight the real fight, if you want to fight the real fight, then you got to look at the numbers and you got to be willing to tell Latino women what they don't deserve based on the numbers. You got to be willing to tell white women what they don't deserve from the Democratic Party based on the numbers. That's if you just, you know, if you want to be real and if you got some internal fortitude, that's the fight. All this other stuff is just dodging. This other stuff is a dodge. This is cowardice. No, I don't want to hear about that. This is cowardice. Like, even look here. Hold on a second. And this is exit polls. And this was hold on a second. Well, I think I want to bring this one up first. Like, even look at this one. Race, ethnicity, gender, and candidate support. Right? You see that blue is percent Obama. You see that red is percent Romney. Right? And I want you to look non-whites on the right, whites on the left. And look at white men. Like white men are like 60% red. That's 62% Romney. I want you to go over and I want you to look at AA black men. That was 87%. 87% Obama. Right? You look at black women, this is the general. This was 96% Obama. What I'm saying is this. Go to white women, 42% blue Obama, 56% Romney. How are we letting these other groups get away? How are we letting these other groups get away with getting what they get from the Democratic Party? And why are we genderizing this in the wrong way? We can genderize it. This is just not the way to do it. This is just not the gender fight that we want to have. This ain't it. Look at this one. Exit poll, race and gender. Clinton, Trump. Look at the white women. Look at the black men. Look at the black women. If you were to even include it, if you were to even look at it like how we do grades, one of us get an A and one of us get a B. And then you go and try to side with the person who get a D and an F. How? No, no. The way we're doing politics doesn't make sense. And then if you really want to have a conversation about it, if you really want to have a conversation, you have to go back and look at some stuff before you get to the general. You got to go back and look at like Clinton and Obama, right? So if you look at black men, black women in this chart, let's start with Alabama. Let's just start, you have Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, you have Texas. And what you see is black men for Obama at 89% and black women at 81%. Why? See, one of the things that we're not going to do, we're not going to talk about how, oh my God, black men didn't support Clinton. And we're not going to talk about how some black women, based on this chart, didn't come out for Obama. Right? If y'all want to have that kind of conversation, I wouldn't have that conversation at all. I would prefer not to do any of this. I would prefer not to do it. But since we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. Let's have an honest conversation about it. You can go to Georgia. See black men, you see 92% Obama. You see black women at 87%. Why so low? And that's back when we thought Obama was black. We didn't know ADOS. He was walking around, swagging around. We thought he was something. That's back when we thought he was somebody he wasn't. Didn't nobody know. You can't say, well, Yvette, you don't like Obama. No, I voted for him way back when. I ain't know. I'm looking at the 2008 side too. I didn't know either. I thought something until he did his inauguration speech. I didn't know. Then I knew he was full of it. But let's get back. So you see that it's not always one way. It depends. All of these states, you see that Obama does better amongst black men than black women. So you can't have this conversation of, well, we come out. No, you didn't come out for the black man who was Obama like the black men did. So now you can't turn around and say, oh my God, the black men didn't come out for Hillary Clinton, so they don't do as well as we do. This whole fight is stupid. Let this go. And this whole idea where we kind of interject white women into the politics because well, we got tits and we got vaginas and we the same. How? No, that's biology. It don't have nothing to do with our politics. Nothing to do with our lineage. Nothing to do with where we come from. Nothing to do with what we're old. Nothing to do with how we live. Stop doing that. And if you're gonna have a friendship or a relationship, any kind of relationship with white people or whatever, you're going to have to make sure you are full-throated. There are no more neutered relationships. You got to tell the truth to people. And if they can accept that truth, then so be it. Y'all can be cool or whatever. But too many of y'all, you can't do it now because it's coronavirus. But too many of us run off to brunch with white women and wear a mask. I'm not wearing a mask around nobody. I don't care who you are, white, Asian, Latino. I don't care who you are that I run into, or Yvette, I want to have a conversation with you. If I run into you and we have a conversation and you're not ADOS, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to wear any kind of mask. I'm not going to be the person who, sometimes I'll tell jokes here and I'll make ADOS laugh and I can be funny or whatever. But it's not my goal when I get around you to play Madea. You have to be honest. Like, everybody has to start having honest conversations. And you can't play this kind of feminist chic. And I say the same thing to any black man who come up to me talking about I support Trump, cause I got together with Buck and Yucko and you dumb. What's that? What are you talking about? I will say the same thing, and I do say the same thing. It don't make no sense. I said the same thing about Tariq and the single moms and everybody. I said the same thing. I'm consistent across the board. Ain't nobody doing that. We're not doing this whole gender sniping. Don't make no sense. Like, and then the thing is, like, even the person who called in, like, last time, people love to interject, like, interracial dating. Like, and I have no problem with, listen, I have no problem with everybody live their life. I don't have no problem with what anybody do. But see, the problem is this too, though. People do one thing. Like, if you run off to brunch too, you interracial dating. You run off to brunch all the time with Becky and them and y'all, and you Kiki and Kaka, and you wear a mask. Becky don't never see your true face, honey. She don't know who you is. You wearing a mask around these little brunch friends. That's an interracial friendship. And she don't even, what y'all doing? Who y'all running to lunch with? And she, yes, I know. You sound just like, you ain't showing your dad the way you sound around Negroes. Well, you know, that's how they are. What are you doing? That's an interracial. That's something. That really is something. And you don't tell her, well, I guess, you say to her, well, I guess there are both sides to every story. And I guess you have a point, and I have a point, and we both have points. Everybody got to stop. Oh. That can't be the way. Everybody who got defanged got to grow their teeth back. And that don't mean you got to be mean or disagreeable to these people who come around you. But it means you got to be honest. You don't owe nobody dishonesty. You don't owe nobody not enough to be lying to them and all that stuff. For what? We can't do that. We can't do that. See, you can accuse Yvette of something and I ain't doing nothing. But I know you doing something. I can tell by the way you sound on the phone. You be running off to brunch with Charity and them. That's a little weird interracial friendship you got there where you are defamed. I can tell by how you talk. And I'm not saying you brought your work voice home. It was somewhat odd. I'm ready for the real fight. Are you ready for the real fight? Or are you ready for the fake fight? I'm not ready for no fake fight. Where you just, well, we did much better than black men, and when black men did better than everybody else. No, we gotta say as a group, we did as a group. At what was the? Let's bring up the numbers before we end this. Let's bring the numbers up one more time for the people in the back. What was the numbers? Let's bring the numbers up one more time. I just want to bring this up one more time because when you look at this, just bring it up one more time. This is Clinton, black men, black women, 98-81. So yes, black women, the mothers of the movement, because Hillary Clinton reached out to black women far more than black men. So people don't want to talk about that. The whole mothers of the movement and everything that came with it. Hillary Clinton reached out to black women a lot. And black women, 98, you see that? Black men, 81. That 81 still surpasses everything else. White women, white men, Hispanic men, 65, Hispanic women, 67. We are still, as a group, the backbone of this party and deserve everything we have coming. Not just one thing, and we deserve an agenda. We deserve an agenda for our group. Not just a token. Not just a person here and a person there. Even the black woman that you support to the Supreme Court. I think it is atrocious that we've never had a black woman on the court. I think it is atrocious that Obama didn't appoint one. But I also think part of the problem that we're going to have is that we're not producing black attorneys anymore. So you're not going to get no black judges to get to the ADOS, to get to the Supreme Court. You will see more Latino judges and maybe even a Nigerian American before you see another ADOS or ADOS woman. You just will see that because we're not doing the work on the ground to make it happen. Right? We are collapsing as a group. I wanted to see it back then, and y'all told me, no, sure, hush, Yvette. You running, you slave, you just gonna get us in trouble. You old running slave, talking slave, master tied. Don't say nothing to Obama. He can't do nothing to them white folk. Don't you tell him that's hush, girl. That's what you told me when I said, hey, he should, how do we have a Sotomayor and we don't have a Keisha? Hush, you hush. He do what the best he can. So, now we're here. I said it would be harder now, and it is. So, fam, let me know when you call in what you think about this whole genderizing of the black women and everything that has to happen and all the stuff that we talking about. I'm going to go to break. I'm going to set up the phones. We're going to come back and we're going to have the conversation. These people done got me annoyed. I can't even slide into break right. I can't even get my mind right to go into break. Anyway, give me 3 minutes. We'll be back. We'll have the conversation. All right, fam, we are back and we are ready to go to the calls. So give me 1 second and I am going to go to the calls. Some of y'all got stuff on speed dial. Anyway, I'm going to 623. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's on your mind?
Boy, that would be me. Oh my goodness. You the one. That would be Radical Mike. I am calling from Phoenix.
What's going on, Phoenix?
I'm all ADOS 100%. You already know.
What's going on with you?
But listen,
okay.
Those statistics that you just shared about black voters, black men voting, because people have I think a misconception that black men are not active in politics, and from that chart, oh my God, we are. If it wasn't for us, so many of us being in prison, we would be just killing the game from just our participation.
Well, why do you think you're in prison?
But so you can't participate. But, you know, one of the other things I want to bring up, Byron Allen. Oh my God, Byron Allen endorsed Camilla the other day.
Camilla.
And I couldn't believe it. After hanging out, and he didn't mention anything about ADOS. He didn't, I mean, I was stunned at his interview. I can't remember where I called him at. And
I think it was the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's exactly what it is. Oh my God, it's painful to watch some kids too, and stuff. But one of the other things is I should ask your permission now, because I've been doing it, and so I've been restreaming your show.
Where?
On my audience, on my Radical Mike platform on Facebook and YouTube.
I'm not cool with that, fam. And it's not no disrespect to you. I just like for the content to be like, you can share the link to here, or if you want to share a clip that you found particularly interesting and link back, I'm approving of that. But I just don't like the reshare, like the reshare the entire content.
Okay. And a lot of and sometimes I don't do the whole thing because our people's attention span is, but thank you for the permission to add clips of it to my live stream.
Yeah, clip and link back, because I say that because I'm trying to grow. So if somebody else is sharing it somewhere else and you see it somewhere else and you can just watch it somewhere else, you never have the impetus to like go and subscribe to the actual channel because you see enough of it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I can understand that aspect of it. And so my thing was the ADOS message is got to go far. No,
I agree with that. So what I would do is just clip it, or just share a link and share the link to it, and share and why you think, or you can share a teaser clip, just clip something and just put it up there and then put the link, because this whole thing has to build. So you have to link back, because then somebody might come here and be like, yeah, you know, because we had the best chat in the game. The chat is the funniest, the best, most informed. So somebody might come here and be like, oh, I really love the chat, even if I don't like Yvette, sometimes I love the community, or I love the people, or oh, I'm really gonna get together with my ADOS local chapter. So you kind of want that to happen as well, is what I'm saying. The building of the community.
And you know what? That is one of the other things that appears to be happening, is that that love, that, you know, if you run across another ADOS person, you don't have to worry about them being angry and stuff. They're like, oh yes, you know what's going on. But compared to our other brothers and sisters, and I've been trying to break it down, because now with the people of color and you're a minority and you don't know what you are, we're in the middle of this identity crisis. So being that I'll be 70 this year. Okay, so a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take people back to when you were colored, when you had the color water fountain, the white water fountain, there wasn't nothing. You were black people and white people. So now who were you before you were colored? And I'm like, once you get them to that point, they're like, and they don't want to say it. They don't want to say I was a slave. They do everything they can say to not say that. They say I came from Africa. They try to jump over slavery and back to Africa.
Yeah, but why? You know, but the thing is, and thank you, fam. I'm gonna let it end right there, because I want to try to get to a few calls tonight. But I appreciate you. And you know, there was a time where Byron Allen was a conservative. So I to vote for what's the child's name, Joe Biden. I mean, that's probably an improvement. But the thing people don't understand too is let me just write this down before I forget. But the thing people don't understand too is people are like, oh, you should get some money from Byron. Like if you do that kind of thing, then you end up having to support that too, because when people don't pay you for nothing, they pay you for something. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But so I expected, like, he's come from conservatism, and still, like, he's wealthy. Like, we supported him for the Civil Rights Act of 1866, and that lawsuit was important, and it didn't work out. We don't have a court for it, and the rest of the court wasn't there either, really. So yeah, that doesn't mean I have any expectation that he's going to ride the way I ride. But also because of the relationship, nobody can pull me and tell me I gotta ride no kind of way either. I get to do what I want to do. Hey, you can do what you want to do. You can do, and I don't begrudge you, but nobody can tell me what to do, because I don't take nothing from nobody. So nobody can tell me how to move and what to do either. That's the position you don't want to be in. I know it seems like some people are dying to be in that position. You don't want to be in that position. You want to walk into every situation independent and be able to do what you need to do for ADOS without anybody pulling any kind of strings or having the ability to pull any kind of strings. Because they could have I don't know what anybody's intentions are. You can't ever know. I just don't want anybody to ever have that ability to be able to pull me in a different direction. So that's kind of what I'll say about that. But hey, you know, it is what it is. The second thing I say is, yeah, people don't understand the importance of, like, I think people should own, like, coming from slavery, right? Like, that's something you should be proud of. Like, your people persevered. Like, nobody, like, I bring up this because I bring up the Jewish people a lot because it's interesting to me. Like, nobody walks around and says, oh my God, I don't want to talk about the Holocaust and what my people went through. We were victims. I don't like think of myself as a victim. No, you own that, because it's empowering the fact that you're still here and your people made it out and made it through. Like, our people made it out and made it through and got real press every generation, and we still here. Like, how do you not wear that as a badge of honor? I don't get that. I'm going to my next caller. Let me see who I am going to. I am going to 713. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, this is Ron from Houston. How you doing?
Pretty good, Ron. How about you?
All right. Just real quick. Did you say you're gonna have another call-in show this week?
No, I didn't say that. I ain't no.
Okay. I must have been watching one of your old videos and thought that was for this week. But
yeah,
okay.
I'm sure we'll do another one. It just won't be this week.
Okay. Well, just going on the topic, I mean, the whole black men, black women, the so-called divide. I mean, this is something that's been going on for 50 years with the popular culture. But far as politically, with this whole thing coming out the Alabama Senate race a couple years back, Roy Moore and Doug Jones and all that stuff. I mean, this has been going on really since when Obama got elected. The night he got elected, I remember Chris Matthews doing an analysis, and they were showing how that same night Obama got elected, this, I think it was the Prop 209 or 187 or something in California, that was supposed to give gays marriage there, had failed. And black people and everybody else voted at the same percentage stuff against it. But they showed some gays getting upset. One white gay man, you can hear him in the back in the crowd saying the N-word or whatever. And then, you know, we've been tarred and feathered as being homophobic. Then they say we rapists and sexists, black men. And now the new thing is we don't vote Democratic. It's black women carrying the load. So it's just, I mean, to me, this part has shown that it's been a more sophisticated and enemy than the Republicans ever have. At least the Republicans are honest about their racism, and they say we for white folks only. The Democrats say we for you, but then they turn around and stab you in the back. So I mean, and as far as Biden, you know, I think, you know, if he's gonna pick a black female, it will probably be Kamala, and then maybe the lady, what's her name, Abrams. She might be on the court, or she might be the AG. But I think you know, he's gonna still try to play it safe and get a white woman, because they still want the white vote more than anything. So I think that's probably what's gonna happen. Either Klobuchar or Gillibrand or somebody, or some other white woman they can find that's cute.
You said some other white woman.
You know, right? As far as Magic, I mean, you know, he just a puppet. I mean, I used to believe in that whole thing. This whole thing came out in the 90s. He was a businessman, but he's just a pitch man, you know.
Well, that's what a lot of us are. That's what a lot of us are. Who and see, but since you have a group that doesn't really know business and hasn't really had access to capital that's not predatory, you know, that's one of the other things that Byron kind of put a lens into. He gave us a window into like what really happens. And when you kind of see what really happens, you understand that, like, wow, they're really closing the doors, like in business. Not just closing the doors, closing the prison doors. They're closing the doors in business. And so when you really understand that, but we don't really have enough business people to be able to look at that and be like, oh, you a pitch man. Oh, you just get together with these people that need a black face. That's what you do. And so we don't really understand that because we haven't really had access to capital that's not predatory. And that's America's fault. That's not our fault. Ain't no way to work your way out of that. That's something that has to be dealt with in terms of politics. So I want to thank you, fam. I appreciate you calling in. I'm going to try to get to some other stuff, get to some other people, but I appreciate that. And yeah, you can't just predatory cap. You can't do it that way. That don't work that way. Let me see the next call. I am going to 206. 206, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Yvette?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty well. I just woke up, heard the gospel of Yvette, and I'm like, I haven't been on here for a while, and I just want to share my point.
Okay.
I want to definitely tell you, like, you know, I've been a big supporter. I've been a big supporter of you for a very long time. Especially when you used to have your locks and everything else flowing, and I'm a real big supporter of you. Even the people that I used to listen on YouTube, from Tyreek and even Tone, I listen to you like 100% more than anybody else. So it's not. So the reason why I'm saying this is because what I'm going to say is almost an accountability type of conversation. Every single time, even if I look at the history and everything else, we guys see gender politics all the time. You know, I think one reason I respect and love who you are as a platform, the Democratic Party, because who you are as a woman and your lifestyle, you will be the person they actually are identifying as. These are demographic people that I want to talk to, and you are going against the grain because you feel like this is not good for my people as a whole, and I respect you dearly. But I would definitely say, if we're going to talk about gender stuff, right, I think our women, and I love my black women, but I think the people with the loudest mouths that's on TV, those are the ones that are so detrimental because it's almost a selfish mentality. We have traders and buck dancers that are male. Don't get it twisted. They say the most wrong, evil, foul stuff I've ever seen. But I've never seen them per se play too many gender politics versus our black women counterpart. Even from the black movement revolution, we're going in this direction, and here comes the feminists tear away our black women. After a while, we got to start saying people got to be held accountable, because one thing I will say, just as a black man in society, all I can be is a black man. A lot of people, and I talk to these guys, I got friends that are gay, and they're cool, they're just people, it doesn't matter. I don't see them as their sexuality, I just see them as people. But sometimes, and I get frustrated with them, because I said, you got to put your sexuality and your gender ahead of the cause, because truthfully, being black is sometimes depressing, but look at it as a black man. You know how painful that I see when I see people use our people against us, and black men, like I said, we can't kill with any other group besides black men. And I feel after a while, we got to start holding people accountable, because I'm getting kind of frustrated saying the gender politics. We got to start saying, look, we can't keep on doing this,
Well, I think the important conversation too, and I understand exactly what you're saying, because the one argument that black LGBT people will make is just like, well, we have, I'm not just one thing. I'm ADOS and I'm LGBT. And the question that I will push to them is like, what is the most consequential thing in your life? The most consequential thing in your life is not your sexuality. Now that may be what the LGBT community has made you believe, but that is not it. When you go, y'all will go shopping, not me, but you people, you know who you are. You will go shopping with your little white LGBT friends, and they will go to what's that little place, Ethan Allen, and buy a $5,000 dresser. And you'll be talking about how wonderful it is, not understanding that what's most consequential to your life is the wealth that you don't have and you can't inherit because you're ADOS. Like, we have to start understanding the most consequential thing in the life of ADOS is the line that we can draw all the way back to slavery, and everything happened from slavery and accrued disadvantage. That's it. That's the line. There is no LGBT line for that. There is no feminist line for that. To me, like, there is only a line that goes back in terms of wealth. Now, I'm not saying these other things that don't matter. Don't hear it that way. I'm saying the most and when it's the most consequential, that means that that's the most important. You got to deal with that before you deal with anything else. It doesn't mean, listen, you should be able, we should all be able to just be people. That should be the case. It's not our fault that that's not the case. We should be able, as people who built this country, to run around with flowers in our ears and do whatever the hell we want to do. We've earned it to do whatever we want to do. That's just not it. It's not the case. It's not how we live. Black women, heterosexual black women, should be able to have black men who are like white men in terms of wealth, in terms of the kind of wealth that they have that you can marry into. Hey, we didn't have that kind of patriarchy, so you ain't got it. Not our fault. I'm just saying that our life is different in terms of the tie that binds. And so it's not me trying to make it one way. It's just kind of what America did.
That is, right. And also, just a little bit off subject before I go finish that. Hey, I do hope, like, if you can, like, you have a great message, and a lot of times, instead of me just boom, 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 I will look, because you have the numbers. If you do break up some of your, I guess you could say this is a podcast or speeches. If you could break it up in like the certain things, and I could just send your link to those individuals, that'd be great. Because I think, because most of the people I be fighting with, man, I'm trying to tell you, those are the people that still love Obama. Even if you bring up all the numbers, they love Obama, and that's another thing. It's just like people go with their heart. They feel instead of what they see and what they look at the lifestyle. I can tell people like this. I have no problem being a Democrat, but I also understand black community. We also have a lot of conservative values. If you look at from day one, we do have a lot of conservative values. Me personally, but
we have a lot of conservative. But black people have some conservative social values. Economically, blacks are very liberal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Economically, when you talk about redistribution, and even, let me just say this,
exactly.
even when you look at LGBT stuff, you found that like white people were kind of well, it wasn't just like this whole shtick that black people have got in terms of being homophobic. That was a shtick that was based on religiosity, and you found that just as much in white people. So like black people have had to bear burdens that don't really kind of make sense when you look at them quantitatively. When you look at them quantitatively too. I'm gonna let you go, Carl, so I can get to some more calls, but I appreciate it. And I think, you know, you do have to deal with people, but you have to deal with people in terms of the data. The data kind of speaks for itself. That's the best thing about the data. You don't have to get into an argument where you don't understand, you don't understand. The best thing you can do, yeah, my clips are great, but the best thing you can do too is like all of the, if you screenshot like the charts that we bring up here, like just screenshot them charts and save them. Save them in your phone, save them wherever. Like when somebody says, we're not a monolith, show that wealth chart going all the way across. Right? When somebody says, well, all black people ain't the same, and see, you just got to stop seeing us that way. Yeah, some of us like robots, and some of us like comic books. But this chart speaks. We have charts that speak to us economically, and when you're in the richest country, you know, in the world, like you have to understand that you can't survive without money. Without wealth, not just income, because there are people right now who had income before the pandemic and they lost their jobs and they're losing their jobs and they won't have no income going forward. So it just is what it is. I'm going to my next caller. I'm going to 770. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
My name's Lewis. I'm calling from Atlanta. I'm from Savannah.
How you doing?
It's so great. I'm doing all right. It's so great to be on the phone with you. I just want to first off thank you for everything you do for the community.
Oh, thank you.
You were like number one. But on the topic that you were speaking on today, these women in the video, they pretty much got the same politics as Tariq Nasheed or whatever his name is. They just want to separate us on gender and distract us from, knock us off our square and distract us from the main goal that we need to be working towards, is these reparations.
Yeah.
And second, on the thing you was just talking about with the charts, is there any way you can make maybe like a link on your site with all the charts that we could just have easy access to it? Because that would be so helpful.
I'll think about that. That's a good idea. I'll think about it. I will consider it. I'll take it under consideration.
All right.
Anybody want to volunteer for that job?
But anyway, the whole thing, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King both railed against the liberals because Malcolm X said the Republicans are like a wolf, but the liberals like a fox. You don't know they're coming to get you, but they'll come and stab you in the back when you're not looking. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, because the liberals are supposed to be on our side. We understand that the conservatives or whatever, but then the Dixiecrats, I mean, good grief. But if you say you stand for something, like liberals always say, I stand for racial equality, I stand for this. Well, I don't even want to be equal. I want an advantage. So I don't even believe in like equality. I'm better than you. But like in terms of the contribution that my people have made to the country, I believe in elevation, not equality. So that I don't believe in starting from zero. I believe I'm here and you're here. So we have a problem. But I think if you believe the stuff that you say you believe, then what that means is that you're supposed to behave a certain way. And we don't see that from liberals. And that's the problem. Like conservatives will say, well, I'm a Ku Klux. So
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because you grow up being told that they're on your side and they're working to get you somewhere. And the more you learn and the more you look into it, the less you see you have benefited from supporting these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. It's all crazy. But I just wanted to ask you about the charts mainly, but I really appreciate everything you do. I feel like I'm taking a whole college course again.
Oh, thank you,
listening to your videos, like you are really getting me through this lockdown situation. Thank you again.
Fam. No, I appreciate it. Thank you, fam. I appreciate that. I appreciate you too. I mean, yeah, we got like that's the thing too. We didn't have no community. Like we had community, but it wasn't really community. Like you got to have like culturally a foundation, a group that kind of grounds you and anchors you in who you are. Like, that's what ADOS is. That's what people understand. I don't think people understand that, like, you can't attack Antonio or attack Yvette and kill ADOS. No, ADOS is anchored now. ADOS is ADOS. Like, it is, and it is, and it will be. You know, you can't, like, you can attack me all day long. It don't change what it is. Don't change the history of this country. Don't change who we are. So, anyway, just what it is. I'm going to 845. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette, Chutney, love your work.
Thank you.
You had told me watching you guys for years. I'm from Brooklyn, but I live right now. I'm in Wisconsin with my mom. You know,
Okay.
I left right around March 16th.
Okay.
You know, I'm a teaching artist and performer, working in like Rikers schools and stuff like that. I just wanted to say that, you know, like sometimes when you're performing in these spaces, you know, like on Broadway and stuff like that, you get to see where this money, like the conversations that these people are having.
Okay.
You know, these funny people. And, you know, I remember like having some of these conversations, and it's pretty explicit, you know, like they don't really care about our vote. But I mean, I've actually heard them say that it's basically like, well, they're going to vote for us anyway. I mean, it's like the common outward talk, you know, you know, behind the scenes of some of these places. And, you know, I don't know, for me, it's just a really interesting place, you know, that we live in as creators, you know, as teaching artists, who work in schools and stuff, because we're in the gig economy, you know, just like everyone else. And, you know, we don't know when any of this stuff is coming back for us as performers, you know, whether that's street performing, you know, some people street perform, or some people are, you know, working in theaters, and it's just been devastating, you know, to a lot of this community, because even if the economy starts coming back, you know, we don't know, you know, when we'll come back. But it's just really interesting seeing the different, like, I came from Mississippi, you know, I was raised in Mississippi, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, before I went to New York, you know, I was literally like most brothers, you know, homeless, you know, all of that kind of stuff, and worked my way up. And it's just interesting when you're an artist and you're always navigating these places of like high power, like billionaires. You'll be sitting down at a table with billionaires, and then you'll go home, you know, and you live in, you know, if you've been in New York, you know how the standard of living in New York is.
Yeah.
Is, you know, working class people, you know, if you have a dishwasher, that's luxury.
Yeah, I can't.
You know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I just wanted to say that I love what you guys do.
Thank you.
I'm
Appreciate
really
it.
glad that I got to. I really wanted to be there this October. And, you know, I really support it, and just keep doing what y'all doing, because y'all are really bringing the truth.
Yeah, I appreciate it, fam. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Yeah, and we're gonna see what happens with October. We're gonna figure out what happens with it. You know, they talking about it, there might be a, what they said was, y'all, second wave. See, a second wave for of the coronavirus in October. So I don't even know, in the fall, not in October. They said second wave of coronavirus in the fall. So I don't know what, you know, did you ever think you would live through a pandemic? So that's where we are. But when I know, you know, but I have to operate in a space to make sure that the people that I'm interacting with, my family, my people, my tribe, are safe. Like, that's my priority. So I'm always reading all the medical journals and everything to try to figure out, like, where is this thing going and where is this thing headed. And I'm just not sure enough yet to put any kind of date down yet for the conference. But we still working on it, and we're gonna keep it going regardless. If it's postponed, it's postponed. But we're gonna keep things moving, and there's still gonna be one. We just got to figure out when. So next call, I am going to 760. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, Yvette. My name is Marlon. I'm calling from Oceanside.
What's going on?
So I only got 3 comments. Is basically I don't know if you can do the things like that, but I believe we need a study to find out how many of us are co-sign, treacherous in that nature, because as everything is, he says the data proves up where we're at and how we can strategize to overcome that. And my second comment is basically like the 2053 is going to be basically now. Black people
you mean going to zero wealth? Blacks going to zero wealth at 20. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's going to be zero. Like in 2021, 2022, it's going to be nasty because they're saying about the coronavirus reoccurring. True or not, it's definitely going to affect Black people the most, and everyone else secondary, because this is the way it looks. And my third statement is the down ballot is a very good thing, but I would say even if you're Democratic, Republican, or whatever, it should be down ballot on everything. Because if you can't see that everything up to now is a result from everyone behind them and these both parties, there is really nothing to say about who needs to be reelected, who doesn't need to be reelected, because they're both bad. And if you want to do something, in my mind, we have to vote down ballot on everyone, if you're Democratic or Republican. And that's all I got to say.
Appreciate it, fam. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the call. What I wrote something down. Yeah, I think what he said in terms of y'all remember the article, Blacks Headed to Zero Wealth by 2053. I think kind of what he was saying too is, and what we, in some kind of terms kind of talked about, is that the pandemic has expedited that. So we thought like, well, if that chart was based on if things moved along as they normally do with the normal economy. It didn't include a pandemic, where you have to kind of, I decided tomorrow I'm going to the grocery store, and I was like, we have to plan the whole thing. I'm gonna put on my respirator mask. I'm not going to my N95. I'm going to wear gloves, because gloves prevent me from touching my face. I'm going to like bring a paper list as opposed to my phone, so that I can actually look at it and throw it away, as opposed to like having my phone, all kinds of stuff. And like that, all kinds of stuff to prevent infection has destroyed like the economy for right now, and all this debt and everything that comes with it, and it's destroyed lives. I don't want to understate that. And what that means is that we have arrived at a place before we necessarily anticipated arriving at that place. So we're at zero now. That's kind of what he's saying, and I agree. I'm going to my next call. I am going to 850. 850. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
How you doing, Sister Yvette? Brother Kazon calling from Pensacola, right here on that Alabama.
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing tonight all right. Mother, I am. Thanks for taking my call. I'll dive right in. First, I want to, as you did political science, I did history.
Okay.
I just want to let them know that there will never, ever, ever be. Camilla might make it in if that's what they decide they want to do. But other than that, there would never be an Adolf president or vice president under the status quo as we are set up in. You're just not going to take that chance. So whoever they kind of, deal with the women, as far as finding a sister to kind of sit in that second seat, just know that that sister will not have any lineage to the Adolf community and what we've been through. My second point I wanted to hit on was the whole thing with Obama and the little bit of the breakdown between the brothers and the sisters. It seems like what's happening is, and let me go back to Obama first. When he first ran, and Sister Yvette, you might remember this. It was around the month of September. He was just running for the first time, and he gave a speech. And I guess what he was trying to do was make sure he touched on a little bit of everybody's group. And, he talked about the people in the trailer parks. But then when he got to us, when he got to the Adolf men, the first thing he said out of his mouth is, we need to learn to take, care of our children. We need to be better at taking care of our children, which was a flat insult to me. All right. So then I'm watching as everything is playing out in the news right there in Georgia. There's another case that came out yesterday here in back down in that same city where Trayvon was killed.
Yeah.
The professor that lived up there in Cambridge. So one by one, Trayvon, the best we got from Obama was if he had a son, he would look like Trayvon. That was it. That was it. That was it for the Trayvon case.
Yep.
When the brother got whooped and snatched up by the police there at his nice home and whatnot, the best Obama came up with was, let's sit down with the cop and have a beer. And he backtracked. He said the cop acted one way, then he turned around and backtracked and whatnot, decided to have a beer with them. Let's just sit down and have a beer. That was the second thing. The third one was the Mike Brown situation. And let me remind everybody, Eric Holder is the Attorney General, and Obama is the president, and they still came back with this boy held his head down and charged the man with a gun. That was the best they could come up with. I ran through those things there as these things, other things are playing out in the news, and you know, Obama's back in it, and you know, he's doing a lot of talking. Listen, really listen to Yvette, listen to Cone, listen at the history, and I kid you not, I can't even believe we found each other between you and I, Yvette. I always knew if we wasn't black. That's almost like, you know, at least skin color black. When you came up with that phrase, or whoever came up with that Adolf phrase, that's a perfect representation for us. It puts us at a time and place inside of history, and that right there by itself, you know, is very important. And I also want to add to that is, I do not know what's really going on with our Adolf family. It's like they have to be sharing groups with somebody. Like me, in my world, I just home in on them that we are a specific group of people. Am I at least clear on that part?
Yeah. Yeah.
We are a specific group of people. We're not just Nigerians. We're not this. We are Americans, descendants of slaves, and that's what we are. That's what we came from. That is the status quo of our history. If people want to go beyond that, fine. If you want to do a little research, I'm not talking about yourself, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of the Pan-Africanists and, you know, and the way that they be kind of like trying to knock this, I just don't see how in the world they can just do their grandparents and their grandparents' grandparents like that by just jumping over that gap. Let's fix here first. Let's get this business straight. Let's get this business on the table. Let's attack it head up. If the season is open for it, there's a lot of things going on, and I'm telling you that they're moving faster than we are.
Oh yeah, so I always do. But we used to be keeping up a little bit and boxing and moving. Now we just standing there like, what, you want to fight?
All right, at a standstill, which means we're no longer not even in a movement. We got to stop that. Let this sister, let that brother just really just squeeze into your mind. And when I do get a chance to come in, I'm always going to, like I said, I'm right here by Alabama. The cotton fields still up there. They're still right up the road here. Plenty of them. That is a constant reminder, at least to me, even though I understand my wife don't be wanting to, you know, kind of hear it, you know, in her own zone and whatnot, and I can't understand that because she's from Mississippi. I'm from New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? She's from Mississippi. It's kind of like, honey, come on now. We got to, you know.
But you know what? Let me just pause you right there, caller. Sometimes our own people who are near the cotton fields and grew up in this dirt want to think it's something else. Like, it's crazy that way. Like, we're from here. We are from here. Like, how do you be from here and, like, I don't really want to talk about it. Like, it ain't like that. I don't really want to do. And I think it's got to be tied to trauma or something. The fact that we don't even really want to engage that part of our own history as if we did it. Like, the only shame that comes from this is if we had perpetrated it. Not if you're the victims of it. Ain't no shame in what you survived. Survival is a wonderful thing. Is if you were the perpetrator, that's the problem. We didn't do anything for us to be running away from it, though. And like, it almost is just like people from southern states run more than people who are not from southern states. From what? I don't talk about that. Now I'm just gonna make some money or something. It's like, what are you talking about? But go on, Carl. I'm sorry.
You got my hair standing up. It sounds like you've been right there on my shoulder. Yeah. I know. You know the conversation. So you see what it is, what I'm faced up with, but I'm going to push forward. I heard a brother, I'll write my name, just my first name, it's real easy. Don't nobody share that name here as far as in the world, as far as I'm concerned, but me and my son. I have that data. I'm so glad because I did not know if I was messing up or not. But I already screenshot that data because when you count that up there, I'm talking about the only other thing they have left to do is start name calling, shove you off. You know, that's all they got left to work with. And when that's all they got left to work with, let them know that. Let them know. All you got left is start name calling and carrying on and acting up instead of dressing.
Carrying on. Ooh, carrying on. They carry on something terrible. Yeah, you're right, fam.
You've been precious with your time with me again. I'm gonna get out of here and let somebody else continue listening on, sister.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. Yeah, they be carrying on something awful.
Thank you, more.
Thank you, fam. They be hollering and talking loud. What you hollering for? Why don't you use your inside voice? You hollering. Ain't nothing to be, oh, Lord, I don't want to be bothered with you. Anyway, so I understand, fam. I'm right there with you. I totally understand. I do. 337-337, I'm going to you. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Ms. Yvette? It's a pleasure to talk to you. My name is Timothy Hill, and I'm calling from Louisiana.
Okay, what's going on, Louisiana? I can't hear you. What'd you say? Oh, I think
they had a little spat going on, back in the cut. But I respect that because I love what y'all have done. You know what I'm saying? I respect everything, but I also come to the conclusion that we all kind of trying to head in the same direction, and we have the same agenda, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody. We kind of have to agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is these public feuds and debates, they ruin our movement. They slow it down. We lose traction. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's hard to avoid because you got some people that would just drive even civilized people to the edge. You know what I'm saying? And when I listen to your show, it's always seemed to be more of an educated base that you have, more civilized, more studied. And I respect that, and I think that you have a greater effect on the community and just being ADOS. Period. That's just a powerful thing. You know what I'm saying? But I think at this time that we really, really need to start putting some action in place. Even if you disagree with the people that are trying to go in the same direction about how to get that direction, I think the only way we're going to make it is we all come together, because I think white supremacy laughs at us when we bicker with each other back and forth. I think that's what they want,
Nah, let me just cut in real quick, Carl. Let me just cut in real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's what I would say to that. I brought up, I don't know if you saw the last show, but I brought up Fannie Lou Hamer, and I said, who's the woman besides Fannie Lou Hamer? And I said, that's Ella Baker. Ella Baker was, SNCC, all that stuff, but she was critical at times of Martin Luther King Jr., right? And his kind of elitism. I love both of them. Malcolm X was critical publicly of Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was sometimes critical of the more militant aspects of leaders in the community. What I would say is that we have always had public disagreements. White people have public disagreements. There's nothing wrong with that. Hopefully we can be respectful as we have them. But we've always had James Baldwin. I can't forget. We've always had these sorts of disagreement. Disagreement is good. I would actually argue the opposite of what you're arguing. I would say the problem in the ADOS community is we don't disagree enough. So there is no space for us to kind of figure out which idea is the best idea, because no one wants to be seen necessarily as publicly disagreeable with certain people at certain times. So we can't really fight and hash out which way we want to go, because we just kind of go with whoever we decide the leader is. It sound all right. Yeah, somebody said Booker T versus WEB. We've always had this. There's nothing wrong with having disagreements. Now, you don't want to kick nobody in the teeth necessarily. Sometimes people get left. But you want to try to, if you can, you want to try to disagree in a way if it's a leader. Now, if it ain't no leader, if it's just somebody who's old slick talking something else, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. But I try to with leaders, I try to be, everybody falls short of the glory of God. But I try to not to come out and be disagreeable when I come out. But I'm just saying that we've always had those disagreements in our community. I don't think we have enough of those. I think we should have more of those where we go back and forth and we debate each other. about what's the way forward. Where we go, we haven't had enough. We need more disagreements, not less. And let me just say something. You know, you see, Lord have mercy, Rush Limbaugh done call all the Democrats everything but a child of God. All the Democrats done call Trump. Trump done call white people fight all the time. Like, we have the right to have disagreements. Now, I don't think we should disagree like white people. They got a lot more than us. We can't disagree like them. I'm saying, though, we should have public disagreements, and they should be serious. They shouldn't be childish. Part of the problem I have with a lot of disagreements is that they childish.
You know, civil.
Yeah, that they be childish. People will come at you for stupid stuff. Like, no, we should have disagreements about what should the black agenda look like? Okay, let's talk about it. Let's fight about it. Let's argue about it. Let's debate about it. Let's have a public debate.
Yeah.
We should do that. Let's have a public debate about this black agenda. Like, let's do it. Let's talk about it. But we don't. But
what don't work?
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with disagreeing in and of itself. Like, we have this thing about, well, we gotta do it behind closed doors. Why for? Who for? Why for? There's nobody else gotta go run behind closed doors. And we're not talking about like some kind of covert mission. We're talking about a serious disagreement about how ADOS moves forward. We should be able to have that publicly and have the people talk to each other and think about it and mull it over and read about it and come back to us and tell us who they agree with. Right? So I think there's a way to do it, but I don't see anything wrong with public disagreement. I don't see a thing wrong with it.
Well, you know what? I disagreed with the disagreements, and you turn around and you made me understand about the way the agreement should be done, and I understand, and I agree with you on that part of it. And it just has to be civil. You know what I'm saying? And one more thing, I think the way that we gain some power back economically, real quick. I think we ought to boycott all the foreign business, spend our money with the white folks until all them dry up, and then flip the script. This is like, don't go no more foreigners, no more spending no more money with no more Asians and Arabs and all that. Just stop spending with them. Go to the white.
All right, fam. I appreciate
they dry up, and then after they dry up, then we go back and we try to regroup.
All right, fam. I appreciate it. I'm happy I could. I'm happy I could provide that. I'm happy I could provide that kind of because I think I think what we, and the thing is, you can't, but let me just say this too, because I'm going to go to the last call in just 1 second. But let me just say this also. Like, you can't, one other thing that happens, which I think is problematic, is that sometimes what will happen is that somebody will go real low in talking about me or Antonio or whatever. And everybody will expect for me or Antonio to, when I'm not Michelle Obama. When you go low, I don't go high. I go low too with you. Like, when you go low, I stomp you. Like, I can't help it. It's just how I'm built. Like, I'm not gonna go high. It don't make no sense to me. Like, so, a lot of people I ignore now, but whatever. But like, a lot of times, like, sometimes you just gotta show people, like, what do you think you're doing over there? Now, I don't do it as much. I try to leave people alone now. I don't bother nobody. You see, I'm on Twitter. I ain't bothering nobody. But sometimes, there are times when you just had to in the past. I hope all that is behind me. You just got to let people know. I'm not one to be played with. Don't play with me like you played with. I'm not that other person that you played with last time. I'm not your rag doll. And it don't bother me just to do it because I wasn't bothered by you no way. I'm not bothered by these people. I go to sleep and I sleep hard every night. When I leave out of here, I'm going to go sleep hard. But sometimes you have to send a message. Like, just don't think this is just going to be a plaything. It ain't. You guys send a shot across the bow. So anyway, let me go to my next call, family. I'm going to 7735. 7735 because I have a couple 773. 7735. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Carl.
What's going on, Carl?
Hello.
How you doing?
Hey, Yvette. I'm calling from Chicago. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How about you?
All right. Well, I just want to. I'm not sure if it's a question or answer or whatnot, but I'm just thinking the problem with ADOS that I think that it's like a brick wall where a lot of people think we're just dumb. And when you don't have respect for a person, you're not going to listen to them. Especially white folks. And you try to talk to them, and they got that 11-second pause, and you speaking clearly. But they looking like, what is he talking about? The same ish you just said. But when you don't have respect for a person, it's hard. And I always think it's three types of people, especially white people.
You got the ones that's not racist. You got the ones that's racist, and you got the ones that's like in between. They can understand,
in between,
but they all work together. So that's what we got to overcome.
I hear you, fam. I think they have a system that works for them. Like, it's not even just them working together. The system works for them.
Yeah, because it's out of the three.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but it's just like we have to come out of something where and then I called before, you know, I'm on and off, I got good calls, bad calls, on and off, but now I'm just focused because you hit the marks and I got in. But it's like, we got to get the people that's in there that like, just can like tweak it a little bit, the ADOS black folks in there, because like I say, the white folks grew up on them not thinking black folks know nothing. And if you go back into like, okay, I'm 39. My generation could be like, no, I'm not like that. But how's your dad and your grandfather? What was they saying in the house? Don't switch up now. Because I work for the city, and when Martin Luther King got killed in the all-white neighborhoods that's full of city workers, they went bar crawling.
Yeah.
So you got, you know, I know you not racist, but what's your upbringing like?
I don't even know that you're not racist. Like, you could be unconsciously racist, but you gonna have to prove to me. People got to prove to me that they ain't racist.
Yeah, because it's like okay, you can say it now, but what's your upbringing like?
I agree.
Yeah,
and it don't matter whether you're in the South or the North either. You can be racist in the North too. Don't act like, well, that was those Southerners down there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And see, another thing that I dislike, that they changing up the school curriculums.
Yeah, that's true.
That everybody knew the North, they were still racist. They just didn't like the ways that the South was handling the blacks.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all. So,
all right, fam. I appreciate it. I appreciate you calling in. I'm gonna try to get in one more call, but thank you so much, fam. Yeah, you know what? It is what it is, and it is a lot for ADOS. It's a lot. Let me see who I am going to next. I am going to 77368. 77368. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey there, John from Chicago.
What's going on, John? Let's make it quick.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Hey, Yvette. All right, I'll make it quick. I would just like to comment on the fact that I remember the show you did on Michelle, and you mentioned something that, you know, if I just have a girlfriend, she has such a great amount of influence over me and my decision making. And there was a black Supreme Court nominee that had been put forth to Barack. And I just don't understand how Michelle didn't have enough influence unless she was just an opportunist like he is. Or like he was. You know, the whole thing was just, like you said, he's a careerist. It was his personal ambition. And it don't even look like they're married anymore to me, because you hardly ever see them together except for photo ops. You know, but, you know, I'm going to get off of that. What I really want to talk about is people act as if white America worked hard and did this hard work to get where they are today, when we know it was the New Deal that set up white America. And that's all we are saying as ADOS, is that we need a New Deal. Because if you look at the New Deal back in the 30s when Franklin D. Roosevelt did the New Deal, it would translate into trillions of dollars in today's dollars.
Yep.
And we know that reparations, as we're looking at it, should have come in at somewhere between $15, $20 trillion, which would be just about right to get us where we need to be in this country. Because without it, we finished. You know, and they didn't work hard. The government made the white middle class. And from those white middle class people that were made at that time, we ended up with the billionaire classes and the millionaire classes that we have today. But everyone is propped up by government. Everyone. You know, and I'm with you. There is no shame in coming from what we came from, slaves. The problem is we act like it. We give power to the oppressor as opposed to giving power to ourselves because of what we survived through.
I agree, fam.
Exceptional people.
I agree, fam. I agree. I think that's a good place to end the call, because I want to try to get, I'm gonna try to get to one more and then we're out of here. Try to get to one more. I am going to 321. 321. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? 321. You there?
Hi.
Hey.
Yes, I'm Nina.
Hey, Nina, how you doing?
I'm Nina from Detroit.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad I got through. It's a miracle. But I'm here to say, no, I never thought I'd be living through a pandemic. It's very shocking, but surprisingly, I've actually listened to the people that have been saying this for years, that have been forecasting this, and I have prepared myself along the way. And it's amazing to me that I'm prepared. I'm ready to go. You know, I do want to say that I am a herbalist, and I have luckily I caught the virus early on, like in October, and went back and forth to the hospital 4 or 5 times. And, you know, I came across some really bad doctors that, you know, as soon as I got in there, as soon as they came in the room, they called me, oh, it's all in your head. And I showed them my symptoms, and they got angry and treated me bad. But by the same token, it pushed me back into my chosen path, and I was forced to care for myself. And doing that, I came up with a whole protocol to help people with this COVID.
Wow. So you recovered from the COVID? You recovered from it?
I recovered. And I had some of the worst symptoms. I had, every time they come on and say their symptoms, I said I had all of them. The only one I didn't have was loss of taste. And it didn't last a whole long time because I was constantly in there making up those formulas.
Now, were you diagnosed? Were you diagnosed with the COVID? Were you diagnosed, or you assume, you surmised this what you had?
I was not.
Okay.
I was not. I went in there early on, before we even knew the name COVID.
Okay.
In October. Okay, and like I said, when people come on, they're giving their testimonies. I had all the symptoms, you know, all of them except for loss of taste and loss of smell. But the thing is, you know, I felt cursed at first. I'm like, how come I can get this sick? And what's wrong? And why do I have to be going through this? And thinking of all the, you know, the wrong ways. But after it's all said and done, when it did, and it came back a couple of times on me too, this year. I said, when it's all said and done, because when my breathing got low and I could barely breathe, I was in the midst of making my formulas already, knowing half the battle was gone because I already was into it. And so now looking back on it, I say, what a blessing that I got it so early before it just hit everybody like a ton of bricks. Because had I been, you know, had I got it like everybody else got it later on this year, maybe I wouldn't have the stamina to get through it. Maybe I wouldn't have the stamina, and I had to do it on my own. I was in the house by myself because I'm an empty nester.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I was able to get those formulas together. I wanted to ask you, have you heard of, I just found this out by looking on the website. Have you heard about these hospitals actively killing black folks and Hispanics?
No. I mean, I've seen the video or two, but yeah, no. You have a point you want to make, fam?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, we already know not to go to the hospital because I suspected this was happening. And also, and the reason why I did is because with that, there's another biological weapon that they're using, which is those amoebas. If a person gets infected with amoeba, if you do the research on them, which I have done, they're killing people with that too, because if you go to the hospital...
I appreciate you. Share that in the chat. I can't have that, the amoebas and stuff on YouTube. I can't have it. Ooh. Bam. So you know. Ooh. Let me see if we can take one more. I just hate to leave a call on a, y'all know what I mean. I just hate to, I like to leave on a really good note. And she's going to have to... Whew. Anyway, fam, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be it, fam. we're at 12:20. I didn't realize it was that late. Y'all like what call? Who? What area code, fam? What area code? See, ain't nobody even got there. See, gotta go. Nothing I can do. That's all, folks. Oh goodness. See, people just shouldn't be so act like they act all the time. Anyway, fam. Wonderful show for a lot of ways, but not a lot of ways, and now I just feel confused. But I want to thank everybody for calling in. I appreciate it. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Somebody said something about another call-in show. I saw that a couple times in the chat. We can definitely do that. Just make sure you let me know. We know what day, because I'm not doing it this week. But we can still schedule a time, maybe next week or the week after that, for people who haven't been able to get in during the show to get a call in or whatever. And we can do that. If you have not hit the like button for me, please hit the like button. I feel discombobulated after that call. Please hit the like button for me. Please share. If you want to donate, go to donatebrown.com or patreon.com/ycarnell. Do all of that stuff. Shirts going out this week. They were supposed to go out Monday. What else did I have to say? Oh, hit that bell if you haven't hit the bell. Hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed to the channel. I would appreciate that. And fam, until next time, just be easy breezy and finish your libation. Night, fam.